Hey, what's up, guys? It's 2020 election predictions here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the polls in all of the swing states and the national polls and the betting odds. That is what we are going to be doing today. But before we get into that, I want to say two things. I now have an Instagram account, which you can follow, and it will be in the description, and a Twitter account. So I would suggest you guys follow both of those accounts. I will be posting updates about the channel there, especially on the Twitter account and on the Instagram account. I will post both of those links in the description, but let's get right into the video. Starting off with the state of Pennsylvania. The state of Pennsylvania is very important for both of these campaigns. Donald Trump won it in 2016, as you can see here, by 0.7 points, and so the polling here is very crucial. As we can see here, a recent Republican poll. So if we fly down to this poll, this is a Republican pollster called Harper Polling who did a Pennsylvania statewide survey, and this is a Republican pollster. So this is a pollster that is very important to look at. So look here, it's looking at a possible 77% turnout. So that is actually insane, and here is where the big results are. 49% of these polls, of the people who took this poll, voted that they would rather vote for Biden, and 43% said they would rather vote for Trump. And then here is some interesting data. It says here for the definitely Biden column, 40% of the people who took the poll said definitely Biden, and definitely Trump was 34%. And then here's the undecided vote. So let's assume that Trump got all of the undecided vote. That would mean he would only have a lead of 51 to 49. So I think Biden has a very strong lead in the state of Pennsylvania now. And if he keeps this up, I do think that he'll easily pick up Pennsylvania in the election. But let us go back to the Real Clear Politics page. The RCP average currently has Biden up by 6.5, and what the RCP average is, it averages out all the recent polls into what they are, and so Biden does have a significant lead in the state of Pennsylvania. Moving on to the state of Michigan. So the state of Michigan is also very important to both of these campaigns, to the Trump campaign and the Biden campaign. This is another state that Trump won by a very narrow margin, only by 0.3 percentage points in 2016, while Obama won it in 2012 by almost 10, and in 2008 by 16 points. So if we're looking at the polling data, the average shows Biden up 5.5, and let's take a look at the most recent poll, which has him up by an astounding +8. And it was taken by Fox News, which is usually a reliably conservative news source. And let's take a look at what this poll showed. Let us see. So this poll shows that Biden, the headline is Biden tops Trump in Michigan, where Governor Gretchen Whitmer is more popular than President. So, as you can see here, this poll, this is a screenshot, I assume, from a Fox News a Fox News Cable Live, where Joe Biden led Donald Trump 49% to 41%. So 49% to 41%, and if you add those together, 49 plus 1%, you get 90%, and that means 10% of voters are still up for grabs. And again, even if Donald Trump in the state of Michigan got those 10%, he would only lead 51% to 49%. This is why Joe Biden, again, has a very strong lead in Michigan. And that poll was done by Fox News, which is reliably conservative. And then, as you can see, these MRG poll showed actually much weaker numbers for Biden. But you see a pattern here. Donald Trump is consistently polling at 41% and all the most in the most recent 4 polls from Monmouth, Yahoo News, MRG, and Fox News, while Biden is hovering anywhere from 44% to 49%. This shows that Trump is not expanding his base much, in my opinion, and that Biden is expanding his base. Moving on to the state of Wisconsin. Possibly going to be the closest state in the 2020 election. This is a state that's extremely vital to both campaigns. And this actually does show some bad news for the Biden campaign. If you look here, PPP, which of course it has a D next to a name, which means it is a Democratic pollster. So it is a pollster that does polls for the Democrats. Biden only has a 3-point lead, 48% to Trump's 45%. So this is, I do think that Trump does kind of have the upper hand in Wisconsin because nationally, polls, they always underestimate Trump. They underestimated him big, like they hugely underestimated him in 2016, and that is why I do think that Trump actually does have a lead here. But the RCB average shows Biden with a very slight 2.7-point lead. In 2016, Trump won the state by 0.7 points. In 2012, Obama won it by 6.9, and in 2008, Obama's landslide election year, he won it by almost 14 points. This is a state that just became a Republican state in 2016, and the Democrats are looking to flip it, and I honestly do think they have a 50-50 chance. This, I think, is going to be the closest state in the 2020 election. Moving on to the also crucial swing state of Florida, which I think, my personal prediction shows that Trump has the upper hand in Florida, but the polls do show that Biden is ahead by 3.2 points. In 2016, Hillary Clinton was also ahead in the polls, and she won by, but Trump ended up winning by 1.2 points in Florida. So what I think this shows, look, again, I do think this is some bad news for the Trump campaign, that Biden is leading him in Florida, of all places. Again, Fox News, a conservative news channel, showed Biden up by 46% to Trump's 43%. So I do think Trump needs to work on Florida a little bit to solidify his chances, but right now I do think Trump is the favorite to win the state of Florida. Moving on to the state of North Carolina. North Carolina, this state is very important, mainly for the Trump campaign. The Biden campaign is not going to focus too much on this state, but I feel like the Biden campaign does feel like they can win the state if they tried. Trump currently has a 0.3-point lead, according to the RCB average. In 2016, he won the state by 3.7 points. In 2012, Mitt Romney, who was the Republican challenger to the Democratic incumbent President Barack Obama, won the state by 2 points. And in 2008, Senator Barack Obama won North Carolina very, very narrowly by 0.3 points, and that was in a wave year. So I do think that Trump has the upper hand here, but there was some good polling for Joe Biden. Survey USA, which is not the most reliable pollster, so take it with a grain of salt, but Joe Biden had a 5-point lead in their poll, 50% to 45%. I think this was very good news for the Biden campaign. And some bad news for the Biden campaign was this PPP poll which is again a Democratic pollster, which showed Biden up 1 point. That's not good news, especially from a Democratic pollster. A Democratic pollster's PPP usually shows Biden with a significant lead in most of these swing states, but it showed him only with a 1-point lead, 48%, leading Donald Trump's 47%. And then this Civitas/Harper poll, which is a Republican pollster, so take also with a grain of salt. Trump has a 7-point lead here, leading Biden 49% to 42%. Moving on to the state of Minnesota. This is another crucial swing state that the Biden campaign needs to win if he wants to have a shot at the presidency this election year. There hasn't been really any polling here, so I can't do any analysis, but this was all the way from October. Biden has a 12-point lead there, but that was an extremely old poll, so we do not have any polling data from the state of Minnesota. Moving on to the state of Arizona, another state that I think will be extremely close in the 2020 election. Let's wait for it to load. But Arizona is going to be extremely close, and it'll be interesting to see what Real Clear Politics has it as. So, in the state of Arizona, Biden has a 4.4 lead. I actually didn't know this, how significant Biden's lead here was. But I assume this is because of these two outlier polls here from the Univision, which is the main Spanish-speaking news channel in America, which shows Biden up by 50% to 42%, and OH, Predictive Insights. I never heard of that pollster, but they have him up by 9, 52 to 43. But most of these other pollsters only have him up from 1 to 3 percentage points. But the current RCB average shows him at 48.6%, leading to Donald Trump's 44.2%. In 2016, Trump won the state by 3.5 points. In 2012, Mitt Romney won the state by 9.1 points, and in 2008, McCain won the state by 8.5 points. So it'll be extremely interesting to see who it goes to. I think this will be the second closest state in the 2020 election behind the state of Wisconsin, and it'll be extremely interesting to see what happens in Arizona. And we're going to take one more look. We're going to take a look at one more state, and that is the state of Texas, because there actually has been some pretty surprising polls coming out of the state of Texas. Just load that up. But yeah, there has been some very interesting polls recently coming out of the state of Texas, which some are saying is a swing state in the 2020 election. But I do not really think it is. I think Trump has it in the bag by a likely column margin, 5 to 10 points. I think how much is Trump going to win it by. But again, of course, Biden is getting a boost in all these states recently, ever since he got the important endorsements of Bernie Sanders, the socialist progressive senator from Vermont, who had a very good campaign against Biden in the primaries, and former President Barack Obama, and who is still extremely popular among Democrats all across the country, coast to coast. And the current RCB average in Texas is not good news for Trump at all. He has a 1.4 lead in Texas. A PPP, again, I'm not going to trust any of these pollsters with a D or R next to their name, so we're just going to count this one out. But in the Dallas Morning News, which is a newspaper in Dallas, they had Trump and Biden both tied at 43%, and which means, if this pollster is correct, that means there is a 14%, that means there's 14% of Texans are undecided between Trump and Biden. So I do think Biden has the slightest of chances of winning Texas extremely narrowly, if he can put enough money into the state to winning over those undecideds. And in a UT Texas Tribune poll, actually showed Trump up 49% to 44%, which I think the UT Texas Tribune pollster is much more reliable than Dallas Morning News. Showed Trump up by 5, and I do see that as some good news for Trump, because Trump up by 5, that means he's leading by a likely margin, according to UT Texas Tribune, and then according to NBC News, which I do think is a little tilted toward the left, Trump has a 4-point lead, which is a lean margin, leading 49% to 45%. All in all, I just think it's bad news for the Trump campaign, bad news for the Republican Party, that the state of Texas is trending blue ever since Beto's big win in the Senate race. I mean, not big win, but strong performance in the Senate race in 2018. And now, let's take a look at the national polling. This is very interesting. What's going on in the national polls, if it will decide to load anytime soon. Well, looks like the computer does not want to load. Okay, now it's loading. But here in the general election polling, Biden has actually a pretty good lead of 4.4 points, a pretty strong lead, 46.8% to Trump's 42.2%. But here is some bad news for the Biden campaign. And actually, before you guys go ahead and comment, I know what you guys are going to comment. I do know that the pollsters do actually underplay Trump and overplay the Democrats. So I do think Trump has a much stronger performance in all these states than the polls show him. We saw that in 2016 when Trump came out of nowhere. And so, as you can see right here, Biden's campaign, Biden has been going down in the polls. This is not good for Biden at all. Like, he's been dramatically going down ever since around March, the middle of March, late March, where he got over 50% in the polls. He was going down, reached his low point in the middle of April, and then he's actually reached his new low point, how he's going down in the polls dramatically. I do think this gives Trump the upper hand, especially when you recognize that Trump's underplayed in the polls. But really, the general election polls don't matter because the popular vote is not what judges the election, it is the electoral college from the states. And that's all I have for this video today, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys leave a like, I hope you guys follow my Instagram and Twitter pages, and I hope you guys subscribe to my channel and leave a comment what should I do next, and share the video with your friends. And so, thank you guys, and have a great day.